In a bid to develop a regional strategy for the final national implementation plan for seaweed sagarssum invasion, the Environment Protection Agency Sierra Leone (EPSL) has held a stakeholders workshop for the development of a national implementation plan for the regional strategy on alien and invasive species. The director at the Environment Protection Agency, Momodu Al-Rashid Ba, stated that the occurring invasion of the brown sagarssum seaweed that has continued over the years during every rainy season has affected the tourism industry and revenue generation in Sierra Leone and that of the livelihoods of people in the coastal communities. He, however, went on to state that following an investigation conducted by EPSL, it was realized that the seaweed is coming offshore across the Atlantic Ocean.
Sierra Leone and many other West African countries have been affected by the recurring invasion of the brown seaweed. The initial outbreak of the sagarssum seaweed was recorded between June and November in 2011, and this has continued on a regular basis over the years. The entire shoreline of Sierra Leone has been inundated with this unprecedented accumulation of the sagarssum seaweed during every rainy season. This beach-cast sagarssum seaweed has seriously affected the livelihoods of our people in the coastal communities, largely fisher folks whose livelihood depend mainly on daily fishing activities. As you are aware, majority of those involved in the fishing industry are women, which also explains the vulnerability of our women and girls as a result of this seaweed invasion. This has also affected our tourism industry, resulting to reduction of employed youths and revenue generated from the tourism sector. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this is not mere exaggeration, but the impact of the recurring seaweed on the tourism sector and livelihoods of considerable number of our people are having cascading effect on our society as a whole. Therefore, the seaweed invasion poses a threat to our economic recovery and development. I would like to highlight some of the major concerns over the seaweed problem. First, because the drifting seaweed occupies the sea surface, fishing activities such as the use of drift and sea nets have been hindered.
The chairman of the workshop, Samuel L. Kamara, who doubles as Assistant Deputy Director at the Environment Protection Agency Sierra Leone, in his opening statement, made mention of how the seaweed invasion can be tackled in Sierra Leone, taking into consideration its effect on the lives of women and the economy. He went on to state the objective of the workshop and what they hope to achieve at the end of the day as a way of addressing the seaweed invasion.
Far back in 2015, the Environment Protection Agency held an expert group meeting for the first of its kind in Sierra Leone in response to the need to address the seaweed problems in Sierra Leone. It was held in November 2015, and in that workshop, in that expert group meeting, a framework for a regional action plan to address the impact of seaweed was developed, which took place in a 3 days consultative meeting. We are here to review the regional strategy main component, then discuss what elements in the regional strategy can be domesticated in Sierra Leone. Also, we will identify institutions to implement various aspects of the strategy at national level, then inform stakeholders on the progress and the current status of the action by government in the seaweed management. So our expected outcome will be a framework of the National Implementation Plan, the NIP, discussed and agreed upon.
On his part, the advisor to the President on renewable energy, Henry C. Kamal, whilst talking to Star TV, made mention of how seaweed can be converted into other forms of energy, rather than disposing of it as it is being done since its invasion.
And then also I'm very interested in converting seaweed into other forms of energy rather than disposing of it as it's been done currently. Many options we are looking at right now. The first option was the energy conversion, actually pelletizing it and combusting it to make energy, which is the option I was looking at ADAX. ADAX uses sugarcane bagasse right now for energy generation. We're trying to combine seaweed with the sugarcane bagasse and combust it. And another option is anaerobic digestion of the seaweed, which is microbial attack of the seaweed to produce synthesis gas, which is a mixture of hydrogen and carbon monoxide. And then we combust that and produce it in the city as well. And finally, we have a proposal to convert seaweed into biofertilizer. So there's many other options and throwing it away. So I'm going to fight very hard to make sure that we use it somehow. And there's also, FINIC is also looking at it as animal feed. I feel Mr. Kamara is not here, but so there are many options. I will discuss them very shortly.
Okay, so following discussion. In his presentation on the regional strategy on alien and invasive species, the acting Assistant Deputy Director at the Environment Protection Agency Sierra Leone, Paul A. Lamine, highlighted the 10 strategic objectives as he went on to state that sagarssum seaweed was not the only problem in West Africa, and there is no strategy on sagarssum, but there is a strategy on alien species.
We found out that sagarssum, the seaweed, the brown seaweed, was not the only problem in West Africa. As you can see from the slide, here this marine species, the African lionfish, is also, and countries were not heavily affected by the sagarssum, but they were affected by other plants. So that's why we do not have a strategy on sagarssum, but we have strategy on invasive and alien species, marine species.
It was, however, reiterated that the first invasion of seaweed was in 2011, and the workshop aims to bring out the objective and draw up an action plan that will be undertaken at national level and develop a framework that will be presented to the experts, and additional consultations will be done. For Star News in Freetown, Adamasila reporting.